now, braking now. No indication as to which way yet.
Police policy is not to pursue if lives will be risked. An impossible decision. Uphold the law or let them go.
Hangar 92, city centre on the way. A lot of the time, of course, they quite apparent that they go out to bait the police, you know, just to the fun of it, which is very frightening, really, because they're waiting for the police to come, so that a pursuit situation develops. And of course, when you get a pursuit situation, you've got road danger.
What are you hoping to be able to do?
It's down here somewhere. What we're not going to do is get involved in a collision. What we don't do is put a roadblock on.
Just missed another vehicle, pushing oncoming traffic out of the way. It's going down the near side of traffic, dual carriageway section.
It is.
There are now 9 vehicles and a motorcycle giving chase. The police helicopter is above. To reduce the danger, they use the minimum number of cars for the trap they're planning.
92, can you pull some of these motors off, pull some of these Zulus off?
What are you planning to do now? Is there any
We're
way that
hoping
you
to
can
get him boxed in by the motorway and to stop him. Trying to get away, trying to damage police vehicles. Hold him, slow him, slow him, slow him. Well done, well done. Keep him in, keep him in. Yeah, he's up the curb. He's up the curb, well done.
The other side of the city, a disastrous end to an attempted car theft. Youngsters screamed across a red light junction, injuring 2 people whose car was wrecked. Those responsible have fled. The extraordinary increase in the problem is almost totally unresearched and unexplained. Despite this, the government has decided that tougher sentencing is the solution. The aggravated vehicle taking bill proposes 5 years imprisonment and unlimited fines. But the fact is that these powers exist in similar form already. They're not used because many of the offenders are children. And Home Office advice for many years has been that they should be kept firmly out of the court system. So surely the question now really is, why do they do it? And how on earth can we stop what is fast becoming a national epidemic? It's tragic but true that accidents like these do not act as a warning to the youngsters whose tearaway games can end in such destruction. There is a foolish youthful certainty that this could never happen to them. That's what one teenager thought when earlier this year he sped along this road in Leeds in a stolen Golf GTI, racing with another stolen Golf. He swerved onto the wrong side of the road, killing 2 pedestrians. He didn't stop until he slammed into a wall. This is the boy who did it. He's just 18 years old, serving 3.5 years in a young offenders institution for causing death by reckless driving.
Murderer, murderer. I was listening to the news at one stage, and they were saying that the police are looking for the murderer.
It was the end of 3 years of twocking, taking without the owner's consent. He admits now to at least 700 thefts, 70 before he was caught the first time, and frighteningly, his friends did the same.
Showing off, mainly. I would say, yeah, showing off in front of everybody. Look, he's got a 16 valve there, it's faster than that what you've got there. And then he'll go get a Cosworth, and then you'll try to go get someone that can compete with it. That's all it is, racing up and down. I just want to drive again, that's it. Just what it's going to be on my mind for the rest of my life, that I've killed 2 people. Just can't believe what I've done. Just feel my stupidity and that. Driving reckless. And that. Just showing remorse to the people and the families and that. Because I know that if somebody had killed my son or daughter, I know what I would have done anyway.
Do you think that's a message perhaps to other joyriders? What would you say to others?
To other joyriders, I'll say that they'll be thinking now that they'll be sitting now, they're thinking now saying it will happen to them. But believe me, it could happen to them, it could happen to any one of them. All it's got to be is just a loss of control of the car and that's it. They could even be killing themselves, never mind other people.
But remorse comes too late to save lives, and joyriders have an appalling record for reoffending. This institution is so concerned, it's starting a programme to prevent them doing it again when they get out. But after such killing, should they get out? Residents on this Newcastle estate have clear views on that. One night last year, a 10-month-old baby was killed. Those responsible were 14 and 15.
I'm just coming back from Shirley's mum's. We used to pop up every evening. We were just walking down, and then the car comes screeching around the corner. The police were following, and they just collided into the pram. The two youths just jumped out of the car. Grabbed Shirley. I went for the bend, but it wasn't quick enough.
What do you think should happen to people that do things like that?
They should be put away for life.
They took a life. I mean, the child hadn't even started. Basically, he just started to live his life, and all of a sudden, two youths come along and take it away, and get 2 years for it. Should have got banged up for life. The very next night after the accident, other kids were out doing it. You know, so I mean, where's respect? They ain't got nothing, no heart.
Across the country, police forces we've spoken to report anything up to a 40% increase in this type of offence in a year. Joyriders usually start as passengers and progress to the driver's seat, so the run that results in an accident is almost never the first. The warning signs are there long before, but the police increasingly believe that parents choose not to see them and not to act.
We've got to look, as I say, at the parents' role in all this. It's absolutely scandalous that youngsters at 12, 13 and 14 are out to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning stealing vehicles. You speak to any of my officers, they're arresting the same people 15 or 16 times in a year. They're actually appearing before a court on occasions that many times, and they're still being allowed out either on bail or not getting custodial sentences, so they're free to commit the same sort of offence again.
Do you think that they should be getting heavier custodial sentences?
Well, you know, I'm not a member of the Lock 'em Up Brigade. I agree with the government that the last thing we should do is to put young people into prison or give them custodial sentences. But what we must do, if we're not going to lock them up, to protect the public, we've got to find a viable alternative to custody. And I'm afraid there doesn't at the moment seem to be a viable alternative.
Joan is the mother of a joyrider. Her 16-year-old son Mark is not in custody. He's dead. He was a passenger in a car driven by a 15-year-old, which crashed, racing another stolen vehicle.
I remember walking in, seeing him lying on the table with a white sheet over him. And I put my hands to his face to warm him, thinking he'd been playing football or fishing, something like that. He was freezing. He was like a block, solid block of ice. And I just stood and kissed him and cuddled him and everything. I just couldn't understand that he was lying there dead.
Only after the crash did Mark's secret other life finally emerge. He'd been caught before by police in a waterboard van. Now she wonders how many other times.
You didn't even know that your son could drive, though, did you?
I didn't know at all. I didn't know till my son was dead and buried 2 weeks after.
Where had he learnt to drive?
Through these lads, I reckon, that he hung around with, yes. And he was a brilliant driver, I was told, because I was told the night that that accident happened, if Mark had driven that car, he would have been here today. But if Mark had driven that car and he had done what this other lad's done to my son, I would have crippled him. I would have killed him and put him away.
Did you accuse him of being involved in joyriding, stealing?
I accused him of the waterboard van that he was accused of stealing, but all I kept getting was a remark, I didn't do it, ma'am, and you know I didn't do it. And he had a cover for it and everything, and all the way through I believed it until 2 weeks after he died.
Central Birmingham, an attempt to stop the killing. Instead of custody, convicted joyriders are sentenced to 30 days of therapy and car maintenance. By 17, Robert had a trail of crashes, cautions and unpaid fines behind him, and still he offended.
Since I've been there, I to a grasshopper. I've always wanted to drive. I said to my mum, Mummy, I want to race cars. And now I'm racing cars, and when I started joyriding, I was saying to my mate, I want to be a rally driver and whatever. And we stole a car that night, stole a Mini Metro, and got caught for it the same night. It's the best project going, because I tell you something, I'd say I don't know whether for sure, but I'd say 6 out of 10 don't do it again. Because I know for sure I won't.
Why not?
You've got the chance to drive.
But you have done wrong, you've offended, you're a criminal.
Yes, but this is a constructive way, instead of hurting us, and because if you go to prison, it's guaranteed. I'd say 9 out of 10 people come back out and they go straight to another car.
In fact, the success rate does appear to be better than prison. Home Office figures show 60% of imprisoned youngsters reoffend. Here, it's 40%. Those who steal again are returned to court, and most of them go back behind bars.
But it's great fun for them out there. They're all enjoying it. This hardly seems like a penalty for some very serious offending.
What you've seen is the end of a very difficult programme for them. They've built a car and it's only then they've driven it. And given that our experience is that they're committing the crimes for the buzz, we do need to channel that need for a buzz into a constructive programme, build a car, then drive it on a track that's designed for speed